Hi, my name is Joseph Douglas, and this will be an interview pertaining to aviation in the sense of interviewing a supervisor of a cleaning crew at Bush International Airport. And this is relating to aviation. One second.
All right.
Oh, awesome. Well, let me introduce supervisor of a cleaning crew at Bush International Airport for many years. She worked her way to that position. I'm very proud of her. And also, her name is Fedora Douglas, my mom. And it's a situation where I just wanted to interview her today about her job and how it relates to aviation safety because obviously I'm in school to be a pilot. I should be a pilot this time next year. So I'm almost done. So I just wanted to kind of interview her and ask her a few questions. First of all, I wanted to ask you, many times in aviation, we talk about, uh, the pilot and what they need to do to make sure they're safe and their immediate crew. But I remember you telling me a long time ago that you used to kind of supervise the cleaning of the airplanes. Can you tell me some things that they ask you to look for when you clean the airplane?
For stuff that they leave around and like debris and stuff like that, and it's just
Do they ever,
basic.
do they
Yeah.
ever do they ever explain to you if you find something dangerous to report it to a supervisor and things of that nature?
Yeah.
Has anyone ever found anything, or no, not in your experience?
During as far as my experience is concerned, I haven't been involved in it, but they have had some incidents where they found certain things that might cause the explosion or whatever, and they have taken care of that. Other than that, that's about it.
Okay, okay, and I'm glad you were safe, obviously, in that situation. I'm glad you never had to actually experience that. Had someone find that on your ship, so
Hmm.
that's excellent. Okay, how many times a day are you approached by passengers to give them directions to where they're going in
Uh,
trying to do
bas-
your job?
Basically, as long as you're walking up and down the terminals, people will ask you questions.
How often does it happen?
And it happens, like I say, long as you're walking up and down the terminal, they will stop and ask you questions because they have no knowledge of how the airport is or whatever. And they will ask you questions from terminal to terminal, how to get to their gate or whatever. And we'll help them with that. But you have to have some knowledge of the airport, though.
How often would you say it happens? Like 50% of the time? Does it ever interrupt you doing your job and managing the crews?
Not really. Basically, if somebody come and ask me, yes, I'm more than willing to help them, regardless to whether I'm working or not.
Oh, and you've never had to interfere with being able to execute your duties.
No.
Oh, you look at it as a part of your job to give directions, even
Right.
though. Okay,
Hmm.
no, I completely understand. When you're working with your crews, obviously, uh, one of the um, one of the themes of this interview is Matthew 25:40, which is loosely translated. It's and I'm going to paraphrase. Uh, Treat me as you treat the least of my brothers, and essentially what that means is that we should respect everyone as equals, uh, and that we should um, love and care about our brothers. So, in Matthew 25:40, um, it basically speaks to the King Christ and
Hmm.
treat me as you treat the least of my brothers. So, how do you lead by example with your team?
With my team, basically, I try to treat people accordingly that would satisfy them because we're basically just working with them, and they're the client. So customer service is always come first at all
Okay.
times.
No, most definitely. I completely understand that. Um, one of the things people don't realize is that pilots, flight attendants, auxiliary crew, um, all have to use the restrooms, use the facilities. If there's a spill on the floor, if the restrooms aren't clean in this era of COVID, it's a situation where someone could be grievously harmed or hurt. And when you guys aren't in full discharge of your responsibilities, it affects the whole airport. Some and and essentially what I want to ask you in relation to what I just said is how seriously do you take your role as a leader and a supervisor of a team? How seriously do you take that?
I take my job pretty seriously, especially when it comes to customer satisfaction and safety. I take that very seriously
Let me let
because
me,
I'm there to do what I have to do. So I do my job to my best ability.
that's fantastic. Let me ask you a question that I'm sure I know the answer to, Mom. But but
Mhm.
did you accept or do you accept Jesus as your Lord and Savior?
Yes, I do.
And how does prayer play a role in what you do?
Prayer helps me to make it through the day. When things go wrong, I know I have someone to turn to.
Okay, okay, most definitely. Well, thank you so much for your time, and I appreciate it. And that is the end of our interview with the supervisor at Bush Intercontinental Airport. You have a blessed day.
All right.